What's up, guys? It's me, and today I have my friend here, and we're gonna watch some scary videos. Like, we've watched 3 already. This is our 3rd one, so we just want to try.
I love this song.
Okay.
The clock true.
My name is Mia, and I was
Hi,
11
Mia.
years old when this story took place. My mom worked 3 jobs, so I would often be left home alone with my mama and papa. One day, my mom brought this old antique clock home from work because they were just gonna throw it out. It was one of those clocks where you had to have a special key and twist it for however many days you wanted it to go off. My mom had set the clock to go off at 6 o'clock every morning and every night. She figured it would help me wake up for school in the morning because it was so loud. But soon summer break came, so we didn't have a reason to wind it up anymore. One night, I got up around 3 in the morning to get a glass of water.
Okay.
Once I got my glass of water, I looked down the hallway to see somebody walking into the bathroom. I assumed it was either my mother or one of my grandparents, so I went back to bed. The next night, the clock went off at 3 a.m. I was confused as to why it was going off at 3 a.m. because I hadn't touched it. I couldn't have. I'm simply too short to reach it, and I didn't think my mom would wind it up at 3 a.m. The scary thing about it was I would see a dark shadow in the corner every night standing in front of my closet. At first, I was afraid of it, but I soon got used to it because I just assumed it was my imagination. So I would just ignore it and lay back down and try to go back to sleep. One night, the clock went off at the usual time, but there was something off about this particular night. First off, it was super cold, which was odd because it was always warm in my room, especially.
Okay, so if it's cold, if your room is not normally cold and it just randomly, and if it was warm and it just randomly is cold, there's a ghost. It's obviously a ghost, because ghosts are freaking cold. So that's how you can tell if there's a ghost in your room or if it's like sitting beside you or whatever.
And guys, sorry for the interruption of the video, but could you please hit the red button down below and make it gray? It'll do a lot. Thank you.
In the summer.
Let's get on with the
Second,
video.
I was laying on my left side, and I always sleep on my right. And third, I was wide awake. I just brushed it off and rolled over, but as soon as I did, I felt my heart stop because what I saw next scared me for life. I saw a face looking at me with ruby red eyes and long fingers rested on my bed. I screamed and kicked and ran to the living room crying. Once I got to the light switch at the other end of the hallway, I looked behind me, and at the end of the hallway, I saw the silhouette of a man who had to be about 7 feet tall. I turned on the light and it disappeared, but as soon as I did, I got a horrible nosebleed. The next morning, I thought I would clean my room because my mom would be mad if I didn't. Even though I was scared because of what happened the night before, I was more afraid of my mom scolding me about a messy room. So I put my hair in a ponytail, put in my headphones, and started cleaning. It wasn't long before I felt somebody tug on my hair, enough to pull my head back. I assumed it was my mom trying to get my attention, so I took my headphones out, turned around, only to see the glass of water on my nightstand fly across the room and hit the mirror behind my door. I finally had enough and told my mom. She decided to get some sage and saged me and our entire house. She also poured some salt in front of all of the windows and doors. The next morning, when my mom and I woke up, all of the windows and doors were open, along with the cabinets, and all the water running in both the kitchen and the bathroom sinks. When we went outside, one of our pet ducks was missing, and my chicken roo was dead. That day, the clock fell off the wall, and the place where you put the key broke, so you can't wind it up anymore. I'm now 16 years old, and I no longer live in that house, but every now and then I'll see the shadows. I've never been much of a religious person, but I always carry a cross due to this incident. And that clock still remains in that house to this very day.
Okay, guys, we're gonna watch another one. So, we are going to watch a true asylum horror story. I don't know how to say it. We've watched it before, but if some of you didn't watch it, I want to share it with you.
Tired of
Still
using your
get scared
gross
from
mop?
it.
WetJet
Watched
uses
a
a
lot
fresh
of
pad.
scary videos
It's a cleaner way to clean.
New Natural Plus. 18 grams of protein to start your day off right. That's beyond ordinary.
After this, we'll watch the true Omagel chat room horror story animated. We'll watch that and then some to end.
This happened to me about a year ago. I used to be a janitor for a cleaning agency. I would basically take contract jobs to clean in various locations. One day, my cleaning agency gave me a cleaning contract at a psychiatric ward, also known as an asylum. To be honest, I was a bit hesitant to take the job, just because of the superstition of asylums being haunted, but I took it anyway because the pay was decent. Later that day, I arrived there. I see a huge old-looking building. To be honest, I was quite creeped out since the asylum was secluded in the middle of nowhere.
I just realized.
Maybe you should.
When I arrive inside, I notice people giving me an uninviting stare. I'm not just talking about the patients, I'm also talking about the employees as well.
You shouldn't have done.
To be honest, I kept it professional and began to do my job.
You're gonna see
I remember
some
mopping the
creepy
hallway and seeing some really bizarre things.
Snuggies.
I saw some creepy looking patients that had a disturbing look to them. I don't know, they just looked like the kind of people you would see in one of those exorcist movies.
Why does that always scare me?
I remember seeing this one guy that really gave me the chills. It was a man who looked to be about 7 feet tall. He gave me this really disturbing smile, like he wanted to
Hold
kill
on.
me.
I don't know if we're gonna get I don't know if we're gonna get I don't know if this video is gonna get blocked or something because
Copyrights
No.
and stuff.
or no, because he's gonna
Okay, so guys, here's this. If you don't like blood and gore, stop right here. If you're fine with it,
skip to later of the video after this. So yeah, we're gonna try.
and YouTube,
I want you to mostly avoid this because I don't know if we're allowed to show this on YouTube, but
and
for some
YouTube-
reason it's allowed to show on here.
and
so
YouTube, do not copyright this film, please.
yes, I don't know if this video might get blocked, but if you don't like blood and people get people
And that,
dying.
and yeah, and
I
gross
suggest-
stuff like that, you should just leave right
Yeah.
now or click off or something. But
I suggest you skip until I suggest you skip.
But if you're fine with gore, stay and we'll watch one that's even worse.
Just skip this part because you
I
might.
can see a nurse
you might wanna
instructing
skip.
him to lay on his
If you
bed.
don't like blood,
He didn't look too
skip
happy
this
after that.
Story. Skip this story.
I also remember seeing a
You
swimming
can
class
watch the
taking
next
place.
story.
Well, not exactly
The
a
next
swimming
story has the
class,
same theme.
just a bunch of
Lots
patients
pistol
in a
operators.
swimming
We're
pool.
gonna tell
They
them
were all
skip that
holding an
too.
exercise ball and mimicking the actions of the instructor. I personally found it unsettling, to say the least.
Okay.
When it was around
This
the
is
end of
when
my
you need
shift,
to
I
skip
was getting
right
ready to
now,
head home.
guys.
I noticed
you
all the
want
patients'
to, you
doors
don't
were
have to
closed,
if you like blood
except
and
for one
gore,
room.
But
I don't.
you don't.
I
Are
could
we
see
allowed
someone
to show
laying
this
on the
YouTube?
floor
Should
with
we
their
just
legs.
skip it, maybe.
Okay, so since it is already on YouTube, we're gonna guess that it's allowed. But
It's
if
okay.
this gets copyrighted,
or blocked, I don't really care.
we'll just make a remake of it, but we'll skip all the blood and gore stuff.
Yes. So
Halfway across the
You
door.
Got to save the
It
children.
was a bit alarming for
Yes.
one to be laying
so
on the
you
floor like
skip
that.
right now
I
after
then saw
after
the
the
person
story.
getting yanked into the room. That honestly startled the
Skip
crap
right
out
now
of
if you
me.
need it.
I then
Yeah,
noticed a
blood
puddle,
wars.
blood spilling out
You
from the
do
room
not
and
want to
onto
see
the
this
hallway.
right now.
I decided to approach the
If I
room and
could,
see what
I'd
the hell
cover
was
it with
going
my
on.
hand, but
As I peeked inside the room,
yeah, if you don't
I saw
like-
one of the most disturbing things ever. It was the tall man I saw earlier.
yeah.
He was biting the
this
hell
part,
out of one of the
guys.
nurse's neck.
Oh, gross.
You can see the nurse's eyes gouged out with blood pouring
I don't know
everywhere.
if we're allowed to show this.
No, but
I
it's
carefully
already
made sure to not scream or make a sound. I got the hell
we
out
could
of there
get-
and
we
immediately
could
started
get
driving off.
copyrighted.
I even called the cops while driving.
Wait, and sorry to interrupt, but huge shout out to Horror Shorts Party huge shout out to it because it makes awesome.
Oh, and why don't you do that? And why don't you hit the like button on both channels and hit the subscribe?
Yes.
That was the wrong button.
Yes, it was. And turn on notifications so you can see when new scary videos out there when them come out, and come subscribe and turn on notifications so you know when we upload new videos. And huge shout out to them and watch their channel. And let's get back to it.
To this day, I'm still traumatized by what I saw that night. I'm not sure exactly what happened to the tall man, but he still gives me the chills just thinking about him.
Remember the last one that we could just completely forgot?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we just completely forgot.
Oh, full lockdown.
How did they even get him in there?
Tranquilizer. I want to watch that one so bad.
How long is it?
I don't know. Maybe it's
Nobody cares, Mr. Clean. We should watch this final one.
If you still don't like blood and gore, skip to the next one.
Well, we're not gonna watch the next one. This is the last one we are because we're on to 3. So I'm gonna have to put the title.
This story happened to me a couple years ago. It happened on a Saturday night. I was typing on a school report for my English class and was pretty worn out from the tedious amount of thinking that transpired throughout the paper. I decided to take a break and procrastinate a little bit,
If you don't
maybe
like
watch a
blood,
couple of YouTube
You're gonna have
videos.
to skip this one.
I
I'll tell
needed
you
to
when
take some
skip.
stress off my mind,
If you
but
don't like
didn't really
blood,
have anyone to
you
vent or
might
talk
get
to.
blocked on this.
This gave me the idea to visit a chat room called Omegle. For those of you who don't know what Omegle is, it's a chat room where you can literally video chat with random strangers online through your computer webcam.
Yeah.
Needless to
Dude,
say,
there's so many
Omegle
memes of
definitely
that.
helped with my social
There's
skills
some-
growing up as a child, so I was always
If
active
you
on it.
want us next to watch
I
some
remember
memes
this
of
one particular
Omegle,
night. I was having
then-
trouble meeting new people.
then
This left
and
me
then-
a little frustrated to say the
and
least,
just
but
leave a like
that's the
and
kind of thing to
subscribe,
expect
and
when you're
we'll-
on these
and
kind of
we'll-
chat
we'll
sites.
meet new
That's
people.
when I stumbled upon this one guy. He looked to be around the same age group as myself and seemed like a pretty harmless individual. I decided to say hi. He didn't say anything back, he just typed the word hi in the chat box. I found it kind of weird that he would go through the effort of typing out hi as opposed to
But what if
just
he
saying
can't
hi
hear?
verbally. He then waved at me and began typing something else. He introduced himself in the chat box saying, "My name is Daniel, what's your name?" I verbally said, "My name is James, how are you?" He then stares at the camera and doesn't say a word to me, completely dismissing the fact that I just asked him a question. At this point, I was convinced that this had to be some sort of pre-recorded video and that someone was just trolling me. That's when he began typing in the chat box again saying, "I'm deaf, please type in the chat box unless you know sign language." I honestly felt stupid and immediately typed, "No worries, my name is James," and gave a quick thumbs up as an act of kind gesture. He immediately typed back saying, "Nice to meet you, James," and gave me a thumbs up as well. He then typed something else that left me dumbfounded. He said, "I will use my whiteboard to chat with you going forward because my hands will be occupied." I was confused by what he meant by that, so I typed, "What do you mean by your hands being occupied?" He then starts writing on a whiteboard and raises it up on the screen, which read, "Want to play a game?" I typed, "Sure, what game you want to play?"
Guys, if you don't
What
like
he
this,
did
you should
next
probably
is something I will never forget to this day. He held a revolver up with one hand and the whiteboard up with the other hand, saying, "Let's play Russian roulette." I was honestly quite creeped out by this guy and was contemplating on clicking.
Okay, if you don't know what Russian roulette is, you can search it up or just listen to what I'm saying. So Russian roulette is an old Russian game of luck. So there's one out of 6, because there's 6 holes in the gun where the ammunition goes in. So if you do 1 out of 6, put 1 bullet in, spin it with the other hand, then you gotta shoot it, and if you're lucky enough, you might not die, and then you keep shooting at a random thing until the bullet goes out, and you can go to 2 out of 6, same thing, but it's just less chance. And then there's
And
3,
don't,
4, but then there's 5 out of 6, which you only have a 1% chance. And this guy wasn't lucky enough.
Yeah, so
the stop option to skip this weirdo.
Skip.
That's when
You
he
should
wrote another
probably
message
skip
on the whiteboard saying, 1 of 6. I was confused by what 1 of 6 meant. He then took the revolver, slipped 1 bullet inside the cylinder, and began spinning it with his other hand. I now knew what he meant by 1 of 6. It seemed like the guy was about to demonstrate an act of Russian roulette with 1 bullet in the cylinder of 6. He then puts the revolver against his head. I began typing, "What are you doing? Please stop this." The guy then smiles disturbingly on the camera and pulls the trigger. Nothing happened. He starts laughing hysterically like a psycho. I was
God.
honestly
I would get
disturbed,
out of
but
there
also
right
skeptical
now.
that the gun was real, so I typed, "Is that even real?" He then points the revolver at the wall and begins to repeatedly press the trigger until the shot was fired. I was completely blown away by what I was seeing and typed, "Dude, you could have died!" That's when the guy raised the whiteboard to the screen again, showing the message, 5 of 6.
See what I mean?
I
frantically started typing, "Don't do it," repeatedly in the chat box, desperately trying to get his
Other
attention.
guy's camera.
He then began
Not the
loading the
one who's
revolver with
talking
5
with the red
bullets
hair
while
in the
I
back.
gestured no by waving my hands back and forth like a lunatic. I knew the odds of him surviving this time were slim to none. He then raises the revolver against his head once again
Guys,
and begins to
skip
disturbingly
right
smile,
now.
with tears running down his face.
Oh no.
He began mumbling the words, "It was nice meeting you, James." I immediately slammed my laptop shut as I hear a gunshot a split second before the laptop was fully closed. I was left baffled on my computer desk. I hadn't a clue what to do.
So you don't like
I
this.
stupidly opened my laptop up with my eyes closed. I pressed my hand against the screen where the video chat was located. I opened my eyes, and through the cracks of my fingers, I can see blood displayed everywhere on his screen. I immediately clicked the exit button on the Google Chrome tab and call it a night. To this day, I'm still skeptical about what I saw that night. I haven't reported anything to the police, nor have I reported anything to Omegle. I'm not sure if that was the wisest decision, but I hope I never encounter anyone like that again.
Okay, click off now if you don't like blood and gore.
Yes.
Oh god. Okay, well, that's it for today.
Yep, that's it. See you guys next video. Peace.